Hey guys, you know what's exciting? The Julie and the Phantoms book tag is happening. Tell your friends. Guys, it's finally happening and I'm very excited. That's why I have my Sunset Curve t-shirt on. I only bought this because, one, I am obsessed, but also so I could wear it in the book tag to be like, yes, look at me. I'm so excited for this book tag. I've been wanting to do it for weeks, but I've had a lot of other videos that I've needed to do, but I'm so pumped to do this. This tag was created by Peyton Reads and Brittany Books, so I will leave their channels down below, but also the original videos and everything so that you can see like their answers and everything. The first place I actually did see this video though was when Jenna from Just a Little Bit Random made the video. At the time, because there was mild spoilers, I didn't watch it, but when I finally did watch it, then I watched the tag and I'm like, I need to do this tag. But the obvious question is when, but it's happening now and I'm excited. So we have 12 questions based around the 12 characters and I am keen to get into this. The first question is for Julie. So name a character that goes through a hard time but comes out on the other side stronger than ever. I actually had an answer for this, but then I changed it because this one makes way more sense. But Feyre from A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, because like she has to deal with a lot. And one of these things that she has to deal with is Taplin being a fucking tool, okay? Like, I understand that she had some drama in her life, but also with the fact that everything that she went through under the mountain, and then he doesn't support her, and then Rhysand comes into her life, who was like the best dude ever. So of course, she comes out on the other side because she finally has a supportive family. Her development is just done so well because she has to deal with a lot of shit, and also for the fact that she has to deal with the powers that she gets and everything that she has. And my god, is this too much of a spoiler? I just assume everyone's read these books because we all talk about it, but like, she goes through a lot, okay? She goes through a lot and she becomes a lot stronger and she just becomes more of a person in a sense. Like, I feel like she was really shut off before, kind of like Julie, and instead of music coming into her life, Rhysand comes into her life and makes her like more alive, and I love it. Next is Luke, who is my absolute #1 favorite character. I love him so much. Like, I simp for Luke so much, but I also kind of simp for Charlie Gillespie because he is a great actor. Like, I'm seriously like following all the actors and everything that I can because I am just waiting for an announcement for season 2, and I just like don't know what I'm gonna do if we don't get it, because it needs to happen. Like, it needs to. Like, we're in the weird limbo of not renewed and not cancelled, and I'm hoping it's just COVID that's making everything hard, but I need it. But Luke, name a character who is more than meets the eye. Going with another Sarah J Maas character, but I feel Lorcan from the Throne of Glass series fits its bill, because at first he's like just this murderous villain and he's so dark and moody and broody, and like he just doesn't seem to have like much thought other than killing people. But then as you get to know him, and also as he gets to know Elid, it's like you see a different side of him. And I'm always going to be obsessed with the fact that he makes her pads out of his t-shirts. Like, I feel like that is just the sweetest thing ever. And seeing how other characters react to periods in the world, and then just Lorcan is just like, you know, we're all good, I'm gonna help you, we don't even have to talk about it, I'm just here to help you, boo. Like, ugh, like there's so much more to him, and honestly true love is what changes him, same as Luke. So like, these characters vibe for me. I just feel that they're so alike, same as with Feyre and Julie and Lorcan and Luke. It's a thing and I love it so much, but there is definitely more than meets the eye to Lorcan. Number 3 is for Alex. Name your favorite comfort character. I'm picking 2, but they're in the same book and they're like in love, so I think it's okay. But Alex and Henry from Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, like, they bring me so much joy and comfort, and they are just the cutest little beans, and I just love them so much. Like, I'm shocked I haven't actually reread this book because I need to experience these boys again because I love them so much. But like, I don't know if I want to like listen to it as an audiobook again or actually read the physical book, but like, I'm not reading at the moment, so that doesn't help matters. And I wouldn't want to pick up this book but then feel really slumpy and just have an awful time reading it, so I want to keep it as the enjoyment that it is right now, but I definitely plan to reread it at one point. But just, Alex and Henry have such a sweet relationship and they have such great development and they're just so cute. Like, Henry is probably my favorite out of the 2, but I still love Alex so much. And as I said, they bring me so much comfort because they are just the sweetest, and even though they do go through sad times in this book, like, they're so strong and beautiful and I just love them. Number 4 is for Reggie. So name your favorite comic relief character. And now I do always have the same answer, but it's just always going to be this character for me, and that's Kenji from Shatter Me by Tahira Mafe. Like, he's just a character that I latched on straight away with this series, and I just really love him, and I love his friendship with Juliet. Like, they are just adorable. It's so platonic and it's never been like a romantic thing, and even though they do flirt with each other in like a joking way, it's just so cute. And I know this is about Kenji being comic relief, but his friendship with Juliet is like 100% highlight for me as well. Like, there's so many times where bad situations are happening and he just brings out some of the most random jokes, but also when he has to be serious, he gets really serious, and some of the things that you hear from him about him growing up and about his life, it's like, my god, this is devastating, but he somehow still finds the humor and joy in things, and that's why I love Kenji so much. Number 5 is for Flynn, so name a book with a strong female friendship. I'm gonna mention Pivot Point by Casey West because this is a more recent read for me, but the friendship between Addie and Lila is actually so beautiful and like a real highlight for this book. Like, there is romantic relationships happening across book 1 and book 2, but I just think that they are so strong and so supportive of each other, and I just really like too that their powers kind of like work off each other, which I think is really cute. Like, even though they're drastically different in like magic and everything, but I also think Lila seems to be like a kind of a really popular person, but she's always stuck by Addie, and I always love to see that. And even though in a lot of teen movies it's always like, oh, you know, I'm popular now and you never changed and you're just too different, like that always seems to happen. Not in this. This is just making everything beautiful, and I love it. Definitely a highlight was their cute little friendship in this book for me. Number 6 is Willie. Name an anticipated release you would sell your soul for. So I'm not going to mention a book, I'm going to mention a TV series, and yes, I could mention Julie and the Phantom, but an even more pressing one is The Mandalorian Season 3, because I am bloody so annoyed that we have to wait until the end of 2022, not 2021. Like, I could wait until this December, but another whole year after that is when we are going to get Mandalorian Season 3, and I'm still in shock about what happened at the end of that season. Like, I am living my day-to-day life, but I am in need of more content, just because like Baby Yoda and The Mandalorian and things happened and just I'm not okay. I cried so much in the season final and my emotions are just like on a weird edge, and I just need this. And I know they're pushing it back because the Book of Boba Fett is taking the spot, but like, people want The Mandalorian. Like, there is a lot of Star Wars shows coming out, and also like all the Marvel shows are starting to come out because we've just had WandaVision. Great show, even though it's kind of weird. I'm really enjoying it and I can't wait to see kind of what's happening there. But like, all these Star Wars shows are gonna happen, but just give me Mandalorian. It's all I'm asking for. Okay, question number 7 is for Caleb. Name your favorite magical fantasy book. It actually took me a second to think of one for this, but like, duh, my favorite book of all time, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, is a perfectly good magical fantasy book because it's about a traveling magical circus and there's a battle of magicians, and it's so good. And I reread this book and it's still one of my favorites, and it was so nice to like go back into the story and remember like little things that I didn't remember about from the first time, and it's just so good. Like, there is so much magic, and I honestly would love to see a movie adaptation of this just to see their take on the magical elements of the circus. Like, they probably wouldn't be able to get every part of the storyline right, but the circus is just so unique of an idea. And even though I love reading books that have any level of like magical battle or circus in them because of my love for this book, but like, I just love it so much, and it just brings me so much joy, like seeing this magical world, and it's so cool. Question number 8 is for Nick. So name a book you used to like but changed your mind about. I'm going to mention Twilight because it is true, and even though I did like Midnight Sun and it was on my top 15 books list of 2020, which I still can't believe, I am just not the same person I was when I read this book. And I mean, we all go through these phases. Probably from the ages of like 12 to 17, Twilight was my main obsession, and I never thought I'd get over it, but I sadly have. I hope it doesn't happen with Julie and the Phantom though, because I'm obsessed with that show, and if I don't love it as much in 5 years down the track, that's gonna make me really sad. It's like, at the time it was so good, like Bella and Edward had the most epic romance ever and everything was just so like, oh my god. But then as time goes on, you realize that the writing's actually shit, the storyline is actually shit, and everything about it is kind of shit. And I'm always gonna love the part of me that loved this series, and now that I've read like 600 more books since then, I feel like I have like more of a sophisticated style of reading that Twilight is trash. And I know that some people will be like, that's such a rude opinion, but like, it is trash, but like, it's good trash in a sense. So I still like it, but not as much as I used to. So number 9 is for Ray. So name a book with a supportive family slash parent. I'm gonna mention Romanov by Nadine Brands because the father is just so supportive, and this is based off the Romanov family, and I think the mum died when they were younger, if I can remember, but I can't. And so this is only like one parent that I'm talking about here, but it's kind of the same as Ray because he's a single dad. So if the father in this is a single dad, can't remember, so like if I'm wrong, but I'm just going to assume he's a single dad. But I just feel like he was so supportive of his children, and like have his son who was like really sick and really supportive of him, but he was also just really supportive of Nastia, and also because there's kind of like magic in this world and he knew about it, but like it seems like Nastia is the only one that kind of has some form of magic, but like not really. Like it's a very small amount of magic in this book. I just like that he tells her things and he wants to have conversations with her, and he's just always so happy to see his daughters, and just like when they describe him smiling so happily when they're around, like it's just so cute. And just again, the support is it for me because it's cute, and even though the story always ends badly when you read these retellings, supportive dad right here. Question number 10 is Carlos. So name a book featuring ghosts. So I'm just gonna collectively mention the Shadowhunter Chronicles because I like the way that they do describe different forms of ghosts throughout the books, and I do think it's my favorite representation because it's not like it's just a romantic love story all the time in books. And I know Julie and the Fandoms kind of a little bit romantic love story, but more about the music, so it's different as well. But I just like that these ghosts are just always there to kind of like support and help, but they can also be evil, they can also be a lot of different things. Like it's just a very interesting dynamic, and it is kind of the same idea of like only certain people can see them, and they all have like unfinished business and things that they're trying to like help with. And I just really like Cassandra Clare's take on ghosts. Number 11 is for Carrie. So name a book that always seems to have the spotlight on BookTube. Thrown Glass. Like, I mean, honestly, it's one of the most talked about books on BookTube, and it honestly is worth the hype, even though a lot of people complain about it. Everything out there is going to have someone complaining about it, so it's not like that's a bad thing, but it is always on everything. And like, considering in this tag I've mentioned the book twice, and I'm pretty much always mentioned Throne of Glass in all of my book tags, or at least something Sarah J Maas related. So like as a whole, even though Throne of Glass gets mentioned a lot, you could just say Sarah J Maas, because like House of Earth and Blood gets mentioned a lot, the ACOTAR series gets mentioned a lot, and I'm not mad about it because I really love her books, and hopefully it means she's going to keep writing books forever because she's such a good writer, and I'm just a sucker for her book. And question number 12 is for Bobby/Trevor. So this is like the spoiler question here, even though I was totally thinking that Bobby was going to be someone else grown up, but I was completely wrong. So when this happened, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But for this question is name a series you trusted but ultimately let you down in the end. Does anyone know what's coming? Because Poison Study by Marie V. Schneider was a shit show by the end. My god. Honestly, the first and the second book are like where it's at, but you get to the third book and you start to have suspicions that it's not going to be as great anymore, but you kind of don't want to like let go of it because the first book was so good. And then you get to the middle trilogy, which is about a different character, and that was a whole shitstorm of shit. Like, it was so bad. And then I got to the next three, which is like the original characters back 6 years later for a new trilogy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a go, I'm gonna try this, like I hope that it's not gonna be that bad, and then it's just more shit show. So I don't recommend. Like, the first book is beautiful. I do love Yelena and Abbeyleec and their relationship and the Poison Study aspect of it, but honestly, just read the first trilogy if you want to experience this thing, because it does end. Books 4, 5, and 6, which are like the other trilogy, do give you more story of the characters, but I honestly don't think it's worth it. And just do not pick up Spyglass because it will let you down and crush your soul. So that's my recommendation. So guys, that is the Julie and the Phantoms book tag, and this was so much fun. The film, oh my god, it's just like, I love to see all this content out there for Julie and the Phantoms, and I'm so glad I didn't pick it up 4 months ago, because I don't even know how I would have coped waiting 4 months for this show to get renewed, if it's ever going to happen. And I know some people are going to be like, well, we've had to wait 4 months, but my month and a half has been killing me, so I wouldn't know what to do. But I love this show with my whole entire soul. It's completely taken over my entire life, and basically everything I do now involves Julie and the Phantoms in one way or another, so it's great, but I love it as well. Please take over my life more because it's my favorite show ever. But anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed this tag. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!